Hello, everyone, and welcome to Instructor Insights. This time I'm talking to Paul Glover. I'm Chris Bensted from the DITC, and this is the series in which we just have a chat. If you have missed any of the previous ones, we've had Tommy Sandu talking about equality. We've had Craig Preedy most recently we ended up talking about the learning to become a driving instructor process. Penny Sue Alexander talking about disabilities and her journey through being an instructor, and Josh was the other one. Josh Holleran, I think it's right. I'm awful with names. Talking about audit and the failure audit and things like that, and moving that forwards. So today, Paul is going to be talking with us on the social media side of things, but I'm going to pretend you're not here, and I'm going to just chat with Paul. Hi, Paul. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Nice and warm. You?
Yeah, it is warm, isn't it? It's
I know.
it's that British muggy warm. I don't like.
Yeah. It's
Um,
not great when your aircon's broke in your car as well, like mine.
yeah, I enjoy having an office and a whacking great fan unit in here.
Yeah.
It's just useful. Open the
What I
windows.
need. Big fan.
It's and it doesn't cost me a load in fuel. So yeah. So tell me about you and your background and how social media is becoming your thing in the driving instructor world.
Well, it started more off before I was even a driving instructor. Before I'd even realized that I was actually in social media. I was doing a job that was based on social media, but I didn't realize it was actually social media, which sounds really weird because
Yeah.
my job title was nothing to do with social media. But I was working at the back office of an estate agent when I was sort of 21. Just finished uni, just took any job I could. And I thought, oh, they'll take us on, they'll have us. Why not? And then it sort of went from there. So my job really there was just preparing um, things for the houses to be for sale. So
Yeah.
it was like creating a document that would go in the window. You know, everyone's walked past the estate agent's window. It's a bit more digital now, but there used to be a piece of paper printed off saying, this is our house, there's a 3 bed, blah, 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 for sale to rent. And that would be my job really to be getting that and just making it look a little bit fancy.
Hmm.
And then we started getting more into like putting stuff online. So I would create the stuff for it and then pass it on to the manager, who would then just take all the credit for everything.
Yes.
But that was it really is I started off with that and it was more of doing the houses like that. If the front office didn't have time to answer the phone, I would quickly answer the phone and book stuff in. So I was sort of accidentally getting into that sort of world really.
Yes.
I got put through a course for like a photography course so I could go out and
Hmm.
then take the pictures with the houses and then
Yep.
I was coming back and then writing descriptions for them. So then it's sort of just growing from that really. Um, didn't last so long in that specific job uh, with that specific company, I'll say. But I did in the other job. So I was a state agent for 5 years. A lot of my job, most of the time, was doing stuff like that. You know, taking pictures,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Because that area has gone through a similar thing, which I'm sure we're now going to talk about, but that similar transition as driving instructors have had, in that social media started appearing in our lives, and it went from being an alternative billboard to your shop window
Yeah,
to now. I know estate agents that don't, there's a lot of them now. The industry's moved towards not having shop windows
yeah,
and being independents, working in networks, and social media has become so important to them, to get themselves out there. And some of them only sell via Instagram or
yeah,
even some on TikTok and such, trying to get that
yeah.
market out there.
Hmm.
And I know that's my journey. I feel really connected with that because, as many people know, I started the first Facebook group for driving instructors. So I was at the forefront of social media kind of really coming in, not quite the time of the bulletin boards and such,
Yeah.
which was kind of the one before, but that was for instructor to instructor or company association to instructor stuff. But the public facing, the genuine social media as we know it now. So that's been my my learning in the industry has been alongside Facebook it's been an education. Keyboard warriors weren't a thing, particularly.
Yeah,
You got the ones that wrote to the local paper, uh,
yeah.
but
Not
not
the
the ones
press.
that, yeah. but but it was what is it? Gloria Hunniford used to always use disgruntled of Sevenoaks or something, and yeah, those kind of things were there, but not really where you could go and have a massive opinion. Uh,
Yeah.
which I'm going to be really honest with this one because I haven't got permission from my business partner, but I'll do it anyway. Um, we're currently having a bit of a battle where one of our instructors has had a photo taken with two wheels up on the pavement. Shock horror. Anyway, that's my
Right.
opinion. Outside his house in a road where all of the other cars are doing the same, but because he's got his name on the side of the car, our name on the car, that you get judged to a different standard.
Yeah.
And the keyboard warriors have come out. And it's taken me back to my early days of dealing with driving instructors who didn't know how to behave socially, as in social media wise.
Yeah.
So I can see that kind of the change and development coming through. So how's that translated as you've come into doing this side of things? That being an instructor and dealing with it with your own face.
I think, as you say there, there's a lot of hate, isn't there? With and that's just because if you think you know social media, you're in front of a lot more people. So as from my side of things, it's trying to help people be more visible in their local area. The more people who see who you are and are aware of your business, company, whatever you're doing, there's more chance of you getting hit. Like you say there,
Mhm.
so the instructor's getting grief for parking outside of their house with two wheels up on the curb, and every other house on the street has done that. So did
Yeah.
that person then knock on every other door and tell all them that, oh look, no, it's just because you've got and they've got someone easy to vent with and uh,
Mm.
try and troll, really, isn't it? It's
Yeah. And everyone agrees with you. No one does. No one responds. But because you said it, it must be true.
yeah,
And there's this odd kind of I feel vindicated. I feel empowered by the fact that that there isn't a disagreement, even if everybody does disagree. We have this way of convincing ourselves that because we put it in writing, that's truth.
yeah,
And that social media truth is a really double-edged sword, or it can be.
yeah. I think that comes to don't believe everything that you see, especially with ChatGPT and AI. That's a
Yes.
double check the source first.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But as you say, there is a lot more trolls about. You think when social media wasn't here, you would probably see most of the same people all the time. And if there was someone to say something bad about you, or they were normally called a bully, they
Yeah.
would be, oh, you're bullying that person over there. And now, instead of just being 20 people knowing who you are, you could have
Mhm.
millions of people knowing who you are with social media.
Yeah.
The more
And
people who know you, the more negative things they'll have to say.
but you also get that echo chamber effect of algorithm, don't you?
Yeah,
Where if you make the mistake of watching something that is racist or is particularly political that's not in keeping with your own views, you suddenly get all of these new things coming in, the world that it thinks you want to see,
yeah,
and you can, that's makes you realize how, or maybe people don't realize how coloured the view is of the world that you get to see because of the algorithm.
yeah.
I get to see all the stuff I love, but I also get told that my opinion's correct, and everybody knows that I don't need to be told my opinion's correct because
You already know it is.
this is why I talk to a screen all day. I don't want to be out there getting shot down for things. It's why I'm so not outspoken. But yeah,
Is this the right Zoom?
so it is. I think I've seen people get it right and get it wrong. Where do you where do you think that line sits? How do people get it right, or what are they doing wrong?
In regards to driving instructors on social media,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
well, if you look at anybody you look at TikTok, anybody who has quite a big following, who might probably the biggest schools and that sort of thing, it's just because the difference usually is one person or one company are happy to be posting and being out there a lot. The other one doesn't tend to really be out there. So
Yes.
I get a lot of the time people say, "Oh, I've posted one of your posts and I got an inquiry from that. Great, but I didn't get any more." It's like, you've just posted once in a month. People, if
Yeah.
100 people see that, you know, what about the other thousands in your area? So by continuously trying to be consistent, I think that's always the difference. The likability factor as well, I think. If people don't
Yes.
like you, but it's different with social media because sometimes if someone doesn't like you, that makes them comment, and then all they then start to see is probably things that they don't like. If we
Yes.
if we try and
Yeah.
train the algorithm to show us positive things that we
Yes.
like to see and like to engage with, then you'll have a happier experience online.
The thing about I posted it and I got something and nothing else, or I posted it and it didn't work for me. Or Facebook doesn't work for me. Um, it I think is an analogy that I like from that is if you think about a website, once you've made your website, it's there and people can go to it. If you think about a post, if I got a post-it note and I stuck it to the wall, and then next week I put another post-it note there, at the end of the year I'd have 52 post-it notes, and the wall would look kind of covered in post-it notes. But I find that social media is actually, especially modern social media with the likes of TikTok, Instagram, that's very in the moment. But even Facebook's gone that way. Too many adverts as well. But anyway, the it's more like sticking the post-it notes to the outside of your car and then driving down the motorway. Because once you've done it and it's blown away, that's it.
Yeah,
Someone might happen to pick it up at some point, but it's not likely to be caught by
yeah,
someone. And I think people think it's more like the website, that it sits there, and as long as I've done it, it will be there. I've made that mistake with my videos. I don't like recycling stuff. I don't like putting up the video that I did 6 months ago, putting it up now, because I know it's already on that feed.
yeah,
They don't see it, so actually it's acceptable. It's
yeah.
it's that kind of thing.
See, the sort of like repurposing my content. I don't specifically like to use the exact same content from before, but try and use the things that worked. So if you have
Mhm.
something that particularly worked, try and create something new that is based around that, because then it is new content and it's not the
Yeah.
same as before. Then
And
it's given a
it,
different view.
I was going to say it's not always the obvious stuff, is it? Because I had a with our driving school, we do the usual past pictures and stuff. We don't bother putting the fail pictures up. I always think it's a weird thing. But it's why would you? But I kind of think it'd be. I've seen a couple of adverts recently actually where people are saying negative things about their own products because they're trying to be honest.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you need a bit of negative. So there's one about some cans of iced coffee or something. And at the beginning, she goes, there's three flavors. I'm going to try this one because I don't like those flavors.
Yeah.
And you're dissing your own product, but actually it's quite clever. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's right, but it's clever. So,
Hmm.
but anyway, we put a picture up and one of the pictures went absolutely crazy. The only difference I could find was there was a dog in it. So the car and the learner smiling, everything else, but
Hmm.
the dog was with her in the picture.
Hmm.
And I'd done it a couple of times since with dogs in there. We're happy to go to the house and there was the dog there, and they always perform better.
Hmm.
Really
People
weird.
relate, don't they? It's a bit more
Yeah.
friendly. It's a bit more, oh, look, there's a dog. What's that? Oh, God, that's a cool dog there, isn't it? Whereas if you just see a person, a learner with a car, how many learners in cars do you see? You could look at every single social media account from a driving instructor or driving school in your area, and that is probably 90% of the time what is posted. Just a
Yes.
past photo outside the car. I still do it. I don't really create different photos like that. I just have it next to the test center. I'll create a little bit of a text to try and take someone through
Yeah.
a journey, or rather than just saying, this is John who passed for one driving fault. Hooray! Nobody else cares that. Nobody cares. If
Even
someone,
John's not bothered because he's passed now, so
yeah, that's it. And
he's
John just
forgiven
wants to
you.
he wants to get home. He doesn't want a picture. He's not. But
See
yes,
it.
he can take me picture. Then when he sees it, oh, you didn't show us that, did you? But it's just it's that trying to be different. So that is really it is powerful because people can see what you're doing. But in my opinion, I just think people would expect that. If I post that all the time, that's our job.
Yes.
If we weren't posting them, and as you say, therefore you're just saying, oh, this person failed this week, this person failed this week. People are like, wait a minute. So it's just it gets lost in the feed, doesn't it? You think if you see that, how many people?
One that I started doing for a while, and I don't know, you know, how you sort of get in a groove and then you move away from it for some reason, you don't know why, was I stopped taking the picture and I started saying, right, here's my phone, take picture. And because then you know how you're always trying to find out a new way, something novel, but it's your brain and you've only got one of them.
Yeah,
Use the pupils because they'll all take that picture differently. So get them to do it because then you get such a variety of pictures. They don't look like every single one's the same and it's a
yeah,
carbon copy. And that worked really well for me, actually.
yeah,
I found that was quite a useful kind of approach to go, let's make use of them rather than
yeah.
the other way around.
You think what could be powerful there if we're thinking about ideas about test day? People are not really sure what happens. The feeling beforehand, the feeling after. So if you've done a video of something like a day in the life of learner, John will say John again on their test day, and then not necessarily record them driving about, but you could just have a little video on the car, just saying, "How are you feeling now?" "Oh, I'm feeling a
Yeah.
bit nervous." And then you could even just have a little your phone recording or your dash cam recording out the window, where they've managed to do like maybe just spiral around a bit really well, or they've panicked on the parkland, and then you can just talk through that. And then at
Yes.
the end, when they've passed, you can have a little like an interview type thing, and then that'll be powerful really because
Mm.
people get an insight. So learners really want to see an insight, don't they? What am I going to feel?
Yeah.
What's it going to be like?
And that's really not, as you said, from the journey perspective, because actually, just from a me being lazy and social media is a pain in my backside, especially now that, specializing in theory, I don't go anywhere. So it's literally, can I deliver something, that's of interest? I don't need people to answer yes or no to that. Don't put it in the comments, please. I can't take it. Anyway, so that you've got potentially 4 or 5 posts. They don't all have to go out at once. You've got a bit of intrigue and anticipation because at the end, are they going to pass or fail? I tell you what, I'm going to look for the next video,
Yeah,
and you then that's more engagement as well, and that works really nicely.
yeah.
I'm going to be getting our driving instructors to do more of that. I like that idea. Thank you.
It's
I only do these for my own benefit. That's
yeah. But I think it's one of them where you just, as you say there, we're trying to show people. So everybody's used to other places. Think about when I was talking about estate agents. When I was an estate agent, there was no such thing as a virtual
mm,
drone footage of us showing you around this house. Now,
yes,
so why would I want to really spend the effort and go to the high streets to look at the houses, to then book in a house, to then go when I can just see on social media, oh, actually that house looks really nice. I'm going to ring them up and I'm going to get booked in to view it personally.
yeah,
Whereas, it all changes. So then if we can try and give people an insight to a day in the life of a driving instructor, that's interesting to people. If you're a driving instructor trainer
mm,
and you're training PDIs, show them what it will be like what it's like to be a driving instructor. Because it's not all, we're not all on £100,000 a year, living the high life. We do 10 hours a week and we'll go to Mexico for 6 months a year on holiday.
it's just the social media experts. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. That'll be me next year, hopefully.
The joys of working off a beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it is. I think people respond to honesty
Mhm.
nowadays, and the more you can be, and personality, and I don't mean that necessarily as in you've got to be flamboyant or you've got to be aggressive. They all work,
Yeah.
but just connecting with the individual
Yeah.
is so much more of a thing now.
Yeah.
That
That's
makes
it.
it.
Like, do you like them? Do you trust them? If someone gets to know who you are before they do a driving lesson, that's why I keep telling everybody, put a meet me post up. Who
Yeah,
are you? Who are you? People want to know. If I was going to be paying somebody about, say, an average 1,500 quid
yeah,
for 40 hours driving lessons, um, I've never met them. I don't even know what they look like. I don't know who they are.
yeah,
I'm going to get in the car with them on the first day and I know nothing about them. Why
yes,
not bridge that gap? Let people know who you are
yeah,
beforehand. Then you've got
yeah,
more chance of
absolutely.
people. using you if I like you. Yeah.
So the thing that I've often been told is, some people will wear the badge of honor of I don't advertise. I don't have any of that. I haven't even got my name on the car, and I've got a full diary. Fair enough. Um, what's your response to that? How do you kind of feel about it?
So what I see a lot is just what you said there. I just deal with recommendations. I get a phone call, but where are they coming from? Because you think if an average person is only like, say, you've done 20 tests last year, for example, so there's 20 people. If they've got friends who are not looking at learning how to drive, where is that recommendation coming from? Is it always word of mouth? Which, I mean, social media, there's still word of mouth. Or has a friend or somebody put in one of the local groups, I'm looking for a driving instructor, and they have tagged that person or put their name and number on there. So that
Yeah.
person who answers the phone just thinks, they're not ask, who asks? Do you ask? If I mean, I know where leads you come from because when I'm in the car, because of the social media business, where did you actually find? Oh, Facebook. Oh, great,
Or,
great.
or they think they've got a bit of traction that you'll get a lesson even though you said you're fully booked because they know, Jimmy who lives down the road.
Yeah,
It's
that's it. And
that's the time it gets mentioned.
yeah, and you live in a time now, don't you, where if I've had someone pass their test and their friend a month later is looking for driving lessons, but I haven't got space for 3 months' time, would that person always wait 3 months, or would they just then go on to social media or Google to then try and find someone that put a post in a local group, or you know someone who the recommendation side of things, I think, is it's changed. Nobody will admit it, but a lot of it is on social media. It's powerful, really powerful, but it's online.
So when you say social media, which platform is your kind of perspective of it when you think driving instructor social media? I appreciate you can use all sorts of different versions, but what do you kind of think of as being the social media approach?
It depends if we're talking at someone who's a beginner or someone who's a little bit handy. I think
Okay.
if you were trying to if you were just no idea what to do on social
You
media,
you
I
mean
do.
from a tech perspective, not necessarily instructors, but
Yeah,
from a
yeah.
tech
So like
perspective
more
that you
like someone who's got a Facebook and they've done it for a while and they've
yeah.
posted would probably have a bit of a better idea of then utilizing on different platforms. But if it was a complete beginner, I would just start with Facebook. Now I've done a couple of polls in local groups and all that sort of stuff, just asking people really and the parents,
Hmm.
when you were looking for a driving instructor, where did you look? Most people said Facebook, or they searched on Google,
Yeah.
which that will change at some point.
And is there a kind of target market and age range to that? Because I always feel parents are more the Facebook territory,
Hmm.
whereas the pupils are often Insta or TikTok.
Yeah, right. Definitely that. So that's why I see if you're trying to get through a varied amount of people, so Facebook to target the parents, and then TikTok to target sort of the younger generation, the
Yeah.
17 to sort of 24-year-olds. So it's getting you visible with those younger kids and adults, I suppose, who are going to take responsibility and look for themselves and book it in. But then you've also got that where you are targeting the parents who,
Yeah.
I suppose, most of the time, I don't know what it's like for you, but most of the time, I get the parents' message first, and then they'll pass the contact details over, and then depending
Yeah.
if they're young, if they're just 17 and they're just looking, if it's the 20 plus, I always get them themselves.
Mine Mine's different because I tend to have people referring. So I get instructors in my referral network because the instructor wants them to go and pass the theory test. So on the theory side of things, that's it. It's a much stronger network, and I think identifying that is really important.
Yeah,
Parents are looking, but instructors are looking as well because instructors want that help. So I've got kind of those three different referral networks that I use.
yeah,
With the driving school, yeah, it is. I think predominantly parents still, depending on the age range of the pupil.
yeah.
But yeah, predominantly, I would say that's where
Mhm.
I sit as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was reading up the other day, actually, just a bit of TikTok, so I do quite a bit on TikTok. And the age range that's the most emergent on TikTok, could you have a guess of what it is?
Oh, please say that it is 40 to 50, because then I feel more inclusive.
Yeah, 40 plus.
Yeah.
It's had the biggest surge of people signing up to
They,
TikTok.
they're coming to see me on there. That's what it is.
That's it. They say, Chris is on TikTok, I'm signing up.
It's all right for old people now. I'm really feeling it though. So
Yeah.
TikTok does it to you. You see all these, these teenagers on there, and you just feel I can't do the funny dance. It doesn't
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
But it's changed, hasn't it? And that's why there's more of the older age range getting on, because before it was just let's do a
That's
funny
the best.
dance. Nobody wants to do a funny dance. I wouldn't be on
Yeah.
TikTok if that's all it was. No chance. I'm not doing any funny dances. Just a normal dance for me will be a funny
There's
dance.
there's some really strong business stuff on there. Yeah, because what's his name? Is it Simon Squibb or something?
Uh,
He's come through, that side of things. All of his stuff seems to be TikTok based.
mhm.
And they're not embarrassed by that. They've seen it as a genuine model. Then and I think the SEN side of things, particularly neurodiversity, has got a really strong. If you want to be educated on additional needs, particularly ADHD, autism, etc., dyslexia, TikTok's awesome.
Yeah.
It's got some brilliant resources in there.
And that's what it's come up to now, isn't it? It's more of a it's become a bit more of an educational platform. A little bit like YouTube. Sometimes if you want to find something out, you'd go on YouTube. So
Yeah.
you'll find that TikTok introducing these longer videos are starting to compete a little bit and trying to compete a little bit with YouTube. But now TikTok's also pushing their promote options more, a little bit like
Yes.
Facebook. Where Facebook, if you really want to get high views on Facebook, you're gonna have to promote it. It's
Your
still
money.
organic reach, but
You say promote it. I say pay for it.
yeah, right, that's it. Pay the dosh for it. But if Facebook is one of the most powerful advertising platforms you can use now. People say Google Ads, but Google Ads have had a bit of a drop, and Facebook is a lot. The amount of money they generate off ads now. And
Yeah.
I suppose, if you're looking at organic reach,
Yes.
trying to battle with everybody else. If you're looking for
Yeah.
promote, you've paid for it, haven't you? So Facebook will show it to the people who you want to see it.
Yeah.
It's
And that's when you really want to get it right, isn't it?
yeah,
So, because that's when I would say to people, speak to someone like yourself, because if you're going to pay that money and you put a crap ad out, do you know what? You're going to get crap results.
that's
So get it right first before you pay. Otherwise, you're going to be the person that comes away from it and says, it doesn't work for me. I put
yeah,
one post out and I got nothing. I've been that person. I've done that.
yeah.
Next Door was the other one that I dabbled with a bit and actually got some traction on,
Mhm.
because not so much now because I'm national now, because working on Zoom, but when it was the local stuff, because it was being a driving instructor, Next Door is great because it's your target market that you're promoting.
Yeah,
It's a really nice one, but it's a different niche to
yeah.
Facebook or the others.
Oh,
So what about, and I don't know if this is something you delve into, but what about the other way around where you get paid for your content? Is is that
yeah,
is that viable? Because I know some guys like Francis doesn't do proper driving lessons anymore, as in people paying him. He's making his money out of all the videos and things from driving school TV, and I know others that there's quite a few locally, quite a few
yeah.
southeast Londoners that are doing that, and they're getting reasonable money from doing.
Yeah. Definitely. On my TikTok, I've got two accounts now. I've got me sort of the one I set up for like more general driving tips, where I was creating animated videos, and
Yeah.
my own driving school one now. But the other one is I'm part of the content, the creator rewards program, and I've got 74,000 followers on that, 23 million views, blah blah blah. Not like anyone's bothered if anyone's listening.
We'll,
um,
we'll put it in the comments, and
yeah,
we'll double that now.
yeah. But it's like it's where you post content that's more than 1 minute long, and you get a lot of sort of views and that sort of thing. You're going to get paid for it. I don't post enough on there actually to to get that. But there was months, you know, when I had time early on in the year, the back end of last year, where just posting a couple of videos that would take us maybe 15 minutes to make, like a reverse video or something, I would edit that quickly and put it on there. That's made 50 quid, 100 quid, just by getting the views through
Yeah.
that. So it is
Yeah.
possible. I think the easiest one there would probably be TikTok, if that is
Mhm.
something you're trying to look for, because I think it's much easier to go viral on TikTok than Facebook and Instagram,
Yes.
partially because Facebook and Instagram changed a little bit because they want you to pay, don't they, really? You know, it's not to say you can't get viral without it, and you can
No,
make money off it.
they reward your investment more, don't they?
Yeah,
Whereas and what I found was with TikTok particularly, it's not the stuff that you think people want that is the stuff that kicks off.
yeah,
It's mention middle lane hogging and you'll get a good video out of it. You know,
yeah,
the stuff that pushes other people's buttons, not the helpful resource, which is
yeah.
where I struggle with the theory things. But when I got my car broken into, and I recorded a set of videos about the process because actually I thought that was quite useful to people. But I called it thieving baskets
I think I've seen it.
range of videos that kicked off. But then you've got my other half. She's TikTok famous. I'll put hers in the comments as well, so people can check that out because I think I'm included in it at some point. She'd 95,000 on TikTok or something. That all came from a video that was her head got frozen by the filter, and it was this is what it's like to have bangs, being a fringe for those of us that don't have a clue.
Yeah,
Um, and it made her look like a Star Wars character. That was mad. That went totally viral. Millions of views. Businesses that would have killed for it struggle. She does this stupid video and gets all of that. And we had people from literally every country you can think of across the world phoning up, going, "We want to show it on TV." We weren't ready for that, and this is my other bit of advice to people: is just be ready for if something does go, because we probably could have made a decent amount from that, and we made pretty much nothing. She got a little bit from the creator accounts, but they were willing to pay. But
yeah,
what you need is to kind of be ready to go, right, I'm going to give that to an agency. I'm going
yeah.
to give that to someone who knows what they're doing.
I
um
I think in that side of things as well is there will be agencies out there as well that you can use to help manage that. So if that's too much for you to do it yourself,
yeah,
I know as a driving instructor point of view, you might not want to be aiming to go viral because you might just want more learners. But
yeah,
it's something there that if you post a video and it gets traction, that might be something that
yeah, don't turn it away because it's hard to
yeah,
get.
that's
You
it.
know,
Yeah,
it's like we're getting the winning lottery numbers and go, no, I just wanted to buy the ticket.
yeah,
Make use of it because it can turn into stuff, and you can get. And we've seen it with some driving instructors where there's been a moment of 15 minutes of fame kind of moment where Pin Binning's a really good example. Has done amazing stuff on social media in getting his things out there, did what he wanted to, sold his stuff as he wanted to. But he had the moment where he ended up getting bits on TV because they were connecting with him because he'd been seen. And it's nice, if nothing else, to have something that's a bit different and something to go, I did that.
yeah,
I still, my 8-year-old the other day suddenly discovered I've been on Sky News and what have you, talking about learners and motorways and things. And there was a bit of a moment. And it's nice for that. We don't leave
yeah,
much behind. It's nice to have had the experience and everything else.
yeah,
So just from my side of things, having done that, which came from me being visible on social media, that led to I got to spend a day I got paid to spend a day with James May working on the James May Theory app and recording some videos for that and things.
yeah.
You can't buy those opportunities
That's it.
or
And you
just
think,
experiences.
yeah.
No,
And if that wasn't for social media, would that have possibly been an option? You know,
it
could
wouldn't
that
have
have
happened.
happened? Yeah,
No. I my whole career has been based on um, having an opinion and a big mouth. I recognize that. Hopefully, in a good way. I tried to make it a positive, but yeah, a lot of people say, "Why was I the one it comes up a lot to the point at which I take it personally. But why was I the one that got that got to go and do that? The genuine answer, the one I always give, is 10 other people said no. No, 10 other people didn't take that opportunity. And I went, what have I got to lose? I'm going to make a prat of myself in front of millions of people on TV worldwide because I didn't realize how they resell in the same way. So Sky records something and then it goes to other channels and other outlets. It wasn't just that thing. I probably would have said no. I didn't say no. And that then led to the other TV bits, BBC, ITV, and what have you. Not Gogglebox. Ian Brett got Gogglebox. Not happy about that. He doesn't even like Gogglebox. And every time, because they replay that on TV, people send me messages going, "Just seen you on Gogglebox." I'm like, it wasn't me. But those opportunities and things would never have been there, and I've got very little from it tangibly, but I got to do it and it was fun. And it enriched my life. It
Yeah,
gave me something I could talk to people about. And there's probably other things that came specifically from that because if you're out there, you get asked more. Um,
yeah,
and so it doesn't need to be on that scale. You don't have to want to go and do the news or what have you, because I think a lot of people don't. But if it just means that you get that little bit more, I don't want to say recognition because it's not that, awareness.
hmm
I think that's a really good thing. I think you'll always find something from it, even if it's just one of your pupils going, "Oh, I saw that the other day. Cool."
yeah. And I had a great feedback from someone the other day, and they said it was, oh, every time I scroll down Facebook, I just see your videos, and I was like, job done.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's when they go, "I can't watch it late at night because I have nightmares." That's
That's a different account, that one.
no. I think just having that awareness, having that out there, having a go. So where I think fear is one of the things that often stops us. So we don't know something, so we don't do something, or we're scared of getting it wrong, so we think, "Oh, we'll just keep to what we know."
Yeah.
Because I know this is what you do, where can people get in touch, or what's their best first step? Should they go and have a go and then come and have a chat with yourself or someone like you? We'll accept there's others out there, but yours is prominently at the moment the driving instructor world social media face that I see. So why wouldn't they? But should they have a go and then come and see you with it so that you can make it better? Or should they get it right first? And then it might be a silly question, but I don't know.
But it's one of them where I originally set it up and it was more just to help. I didn't really think from 4 months later,
Yeah.
starting at that, it would be that I'm taking part in different Zooms and stuff, and going on later on the year to um, with a lot of other industry um, people really taking part with them. The people who I used to do a bit of training when I was doing my part three, that I'm going to be with them and giving these sort of like presentations and stuff like that. So it was never really that. I've got a lot of
Yeah.
free content out there, and a lot of it is really sort of telling people what to do and how to do it, and the why. Why should we do it is always a good one, because we always
Yes.
tell, well, we always do that on driving lessons, don't we? Well, this is why, or why do you think you should do it? Oh
Yeah.
God, well, if I don't check that mirror, I'll crash into someone. Well, if I don't start getting myself more visible, more people's not going to message us for driving lessons. That is it,
Yeah.
really. Is
And the bubble's going to burst at some point. I accept we then think, well, look at the waiting list or what have you. We can use that the lack of doing, the lack of actual action is meaning that nothing changes, and that means that you're not ready for when it does change.
yeah,
We saw that COVID was coming to an end and no one was taking action. Look where we are.
yeah,
Flipping mess. Nearly went one step further. It's the same kind of thing, isn't it? That if we start having things drying up, or it goes the other way, lots and lots and lots of more instructors in your area. It doesn't have to be in the country,
yeah,
but just in your area.
yeah,
How are you going to tackle that new or growing problem. I think, it's something we're trying to educate our instructor on, because a lot of them have never been in the industry in the hard times. There's a lot of instructors that haven't seen it. Ian and myself have, we came in pretty much mid-recession,
Yeah.
when we came into things of there were some really difficult times. At the moment, I think anyone could become a driving instructor, and wait, if as long as they're visible enough, they'll have a full diary by the end of next week.
Yeah.
It
That's it.
might not be the work you want.
Yeah. But that's it. I think it's a thing where a lot of the message I get, which I still get quite a few regularly, is um, any advice with my social media. The first thing I'll say is send us your link, whether Facebook, whatever you're using predominantly as your advertising for yourself, and I'll have a look. And I can guarantee that 99% of the time there was one post 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, it got
Yeah.
nothing, and that's it. And it's like, as you see there, eventually, this is not always going to be the same, is it? You think it will eventually, you
Mm.
hope. I always say that bit though, we'll hope.
Yeah,
That
it's a mixed blessing.
yeah, isn't it?
you
Yeah.
know.
We've got the problem where we'll always have learners at the minute,
Yes.
but is it always going to be there? And I still get messages now saying that, even experienced ADIs, PDIs, but ADIs who've done this for quite a while, who you would expect, the old saying goes is, oh, I'm always getting recommendations.
Yeah.
It's starting to struggle that way. And that's just trying to shift. I don't know if you've heard the story about Blockbuster. When Blockbuster was about, and you'd go in the corner, you'd rent your video and your whatever it was, and go home and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. Well, the the owner, I can't remember what his name was, of Blockbuster was actually brought. So from some of his staff was saying that they should try and work on the online sort of things. They had the chance to buy Netflix for 50 million, and he said it was a fad. Yeah, that's the online stuff. It's just one of them. Yeah, it'll die off. It'll die off. So he's stuck with these high street corner shop sort of rental, and they went bust. And
Yeah.
and the story there really is we're trying to move with the times. I find we as an industry are a little bit behind.
Mm.
Whereas now, if you think of AI,
Yeah.
what I was saying earlier, at the minute people are searching social media or Google for a driving instructor or anything, a plumber,
Yeah.
whatever. Give it a couple of years and people will just be going straight on AI, and because the information's there, isn't it? Can you show me a good driving instructor in Blackpool who blah 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 blah? It's going to pop
Yeah.
up a couple of names and they're going to ring them up. So now
Yeah.
it's trying to also get ahead of that. Can we start learning AI now and understanding how to use it? So in a couple of years, when it is popular,
Yeah.
you're ahead of the game.
So we're seeing, we spoke about this just before I hit record, and I said to you when we started doing this, I should never talk to people, not just yourself, before hitting record, because there's always something that's useful, right?
Yeah.
So, quick recap. We spoke about ChatGPT, which everybody's discovered. Everyone's using it badly, really badly.
Yeah.
And it is like fingers on a chalkboard. Once you start noticing it,
Yeah.
it puts you off. It's actually a negative. However nice, however good the content is, because it's probably come from a good idea and you've actually put something into it, but it stopped you. You've got knowledge but not understanding in that
Yeah.
post.
And it's not you is the
Yeah.
problem.
So it's one that I think it's really important. I would rather see someone putting a poor post up that they've put together themselves rather than a very obviously chat GPT post. Please don't tag any that I've done. Just I've learnt very quickly, but there are a few hovering around out there where I didn't realize it was quite. And what, actually at the time not everyone was doing it, so it wasn't as obvious.
Yeah.
Now everyone and their dog is using chat GPT badly. They stand out more. So but I'd rather see that than a lovely chat GPT obvious post where you didn't bother, because
Yeah.
as you said, it's not, I want the person and we
That's it.
want the individual. So
And when you
I was just going to say, is that something that you're going to start to kind of include a bit of awareness around with the AI kind of things? If people want to use it well.
It will be at some point. I mean, I spend sort of 10 to 15 minutes a day just trying to learn a lot of other parts about it, because I think before, like with social media, I'm happy to help people with that because I've got a knowledge where it is probably higher than it's even needed to be a driving instructor. Whereas with AI, I would still probably say I've got a bit more of a better knowledge and know how to use it, but I'm still trying to fully work it
Yes.
myself.
It,
So
I think if anyone wants to learn AI, but wants to do it what's definitely not the best way, but wants something that's easily available, is go and use ChatGPT to teach you how to use ChatGPT,
yeah,
because it's really
ask
good at
itself how to teach it. Yeah.
that. Yeah, and
There's a
and
lot of
I did that with my account. I've got a paid account because I use it a lot for various things, like a few logo-y things or tweaking pictures. If I get a picture where it's not quite right for what I need, I'll put the picture in and say, "Can you just move that?" Job done. It's awesome.
yeah,
Sometimes you end up with them flying in the air, or whatever
yeah,
they
bit
want.
random, but yeah, sometimes.
It suddenly turns all the cars into ice creams.
Yeah,
Weird stuff. So, but I put in there, I've got the paid ChatGPT, whatever account, AI
whatever.
account, and other AIs are available, often based on the back
Yeah,
of ChatGPT anyway. But and said, talk me through on a step-by-step basis how to optimize my account. It was awesome. It really did
yeah.
just take me through that process.
Mhm.
And it knows ChatGPT because it is ChatGPT. So
Yeah,
it went through it, and we did that and followed those steps. You have to be careful because some of it gets it wrong.
yeah,
Some of the facts.
yeah.
Um,
Does.
and just because it suddenly I've pushed my own button with this one. When you type something into Google now, that top thing that is AI generated does not make it right.
Yep. Because you think AI is just using the information from the internet. So I could create a website now called the DVSA have hired 9 million examiners, and there's going to be, and there's no wait for a test, and then get it out there so it's utilized a little bit. Someone searches for that. Oh, it's so easy to, it's not always correct information. It searches the web for information on the web. Doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
Do we think that's where DVSA are getting their information about the fact that the situation's improving from? Have they just,
Yeah,
yeah.
but they've trained it to speak well for them.
No, they can't communicate. If they did it a bit more, it might be better.
Yeah.
They
I
won't be.
think with it is now if I'm scrolling Facebook or anything and I see something that's clearly wrote by ChatGPT, I scroll past. I just stop reading it. I'm
Yes.
just like, meh,
Yeah. It's
can't
the
be bothered.
second you get the car icon in, the logo in there or something, or you put a date on there, so it's put a calendar date in it or something. Yeah, it is. It might look nice on its own, but amongst the world of social media posts,
Yeah. The
yeah,
thing is, don't be scared to use it to create an idea for a post.
yeah,
Then copy and paste that into Word and then put your thing on, type it
yeah,
up. You can get ideas, if you're struggling with ideas for videos or anything like that. I think driving instructors, we're all missing the trick.
yes,
Everybody's missing a trick because the amount of good content that we have just on a normal day-to-day basis is
mhm,
probably bigger than most other industries. Think what else an estate agent, what are they going to post about? Oh, look at this house, it's lovely. Oh, look at this 10-bed house. We have loads of things happening. If we are trying to target the local audience, is there a roundabout that people struggle with that
yeah,
everybody gets wrong? Stick your
yes,
phone on, stick your recorder on dash cam, talk through it, post
yeah,
that, a little bit of editing, some captions on because you've got to have captions now, and then
yes,
stick that out there. It resonates with people because they're, oh look, that's that roundabout nobody can do. Oh, that's great. And then you
and
start setting yourself up to like be that authority
yeah,
person.
and don't be scared to talk about your local signposts. So your local, the name the roundabout. Don't think I need to do a roundabout video for everyone. Do it for the
Yeah,
locals,
yeah,
because that's the market you want. Other people are just going to ignore the name. It's not going to change how good the video is.
yeah.
So yeah, no, I agree. I think we do miss a lot of opportunities there.
Mhm.
And I would also just flag up people, because this is the other side of the DITC that I get phone calls about. People need to then just check that they're being careful with their GDPR and everything else, because especially when you've got a pupil who's under 18, and some of the stuff, and also don't upset the DVSA. That's my job, right? Don't upset the DVSA. I seem to be doing it well at the moment. The I've got three things in my head. Yeah. Make sure that you are not filming examiners, not filming tests. All of those rules, you
Yeah.
know, don't. If you want your badge to not be renewed, that's a really good way to go about
Yeah.
it.
That's it. And I say, someone said to me the other day, "Oh, I keep watching these videos on TikTok where people are like failing the driving test and stuff." And I'll say, it's just set up. It's not an actual driving test.
Yeah.
Somebody's just set it up. They've titled it, "This person's failed the driving test," and it'll
Yeah.
just likely be a mock test or a lesson or the friend, and it's set up that way just to show whatever, for the views, maybe.
What do you think about clickbait?
It's it's a difficult one because I see it depends on how other people identify it. So clickbait, what I take that as is clickbait to me is I'll read the title and then I'll watch a video and it's got nothing to do with that title. I think that's clickbait.
Right.
If
Okay.
you if you've got something, so say for example, I use a lot. So hooks is a great one.
Yeah.
You've got to try and hook people in. So if I say to somebody,
We
"This is how to turn left at this roundabout," people will scroll past. It's boring. Ugh.
down here we have hooks. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just that where
I was having a conversation with my 8-year-old who's got a friend who's from further north and has more of a, what I'm told is the proper accent by
oh,
my mate from Coventry, sorry, Nuneaton. So if I say Coventry, I get in trouble. Hopefully he will listen, because that'll annoy him. And yeah, he was really struggling trying to figure out how a word was supposed to be said. So we and then realised that his teacher also has the northern dialects going on, so that's where the confusion had come
yeah.
from. It is.
Whatever the word is.
It's. It was in my head. I couldn't resist it. So let me change from clickbait, because I think I was being polite. What do you think about people blatantly lying on videos? For example, there will only be 3 attempts in the future at the theory test, otherwise you won't be able to be a driver, to sell their own course.
If I found that out from somebody, so like say if I was I'm a learner and I'm looking for theory tests, I'm going to pick him because he said I've only got 3 attempts. Then I found out that it wasn't. The trust is gone.
Yeah.
Once that trust is gone, people will start saying, "Oh, they're lying." So it's all just trying to think of,
Mm.
if I post anything online, I try and make sure that it is factual. If I post a video, it's got to be related to the highway code. So if anything come back to say that's wrong information, I'll say, well, actually, if you go blah 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 blah, it isn't. It could be misinterpreted,
Yeah.
but
So I was going to say my experience with it is people don't feel like that, and then they go back for more. So even though there was something that's blatantly not true, and they've established it wasn't true, they still follow the same voice and assume the next thing will be true.
yeah,
I find that you know the damage we're doing to our own industry, just for the sake of getting clicks,
hmm
are that's where I struggle, I think.
yeah, and it's just I find that being a source of information, but not just being boring about it because nobody will watch it. Because if you think social media, you're competing with a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
Not just you've got cat videos and dog videos and learners with a dog and all that sort of stuff. So it's trying to entice them in, but not having it where you're becoming a person who's posting stuff just for views for the sake of, I know what, I'll post this misinformation out there and I might try and sell more, because then it's integrity, isn't it? I'm
Yeah.
I'm getting business because I've told people something dodgy. At some point, you'd find that if they're still following that person or going back to that person for content, it'll likely be that there's other content that they've felt was believable or is true.
Mm,
So it's one of
yes.
them where if they've got one post and the others aren't so true, do they know it's true? Do they
Yeah.
actually know the content that they're looking at? especially on TikTok, do they know that's factual? Because most people don't.
I suppose there was a similar thing when Top Gear first started, and it wasn't a serious program for people who liked cars. It was for it was a fun, you know, um, bunch of people having a laugh. It was more about that, and it got some criticism initially. And actually, that's the way they ended up going because that's what a lot of people, the larger market liked. So
Yeah,
I think sometimes as professionals, we value road safety, and we're, actually your pupils might like to watch, the near misses or the, other people that are getting it wrong,
yeah,
and those, and that's not wrong, but maybe we then feel that, we I know it is. How often do you, um as a driving instructor, you watch another driving instructor's video and you only spot the thing they did wrong, the thing that you disagree with,
yeah,
and it's I think it's that, isn't it? And we're in such a
yeah,
fault noticing world that, yeah, maybe maybe I'm speaking for myself, but maybe we're too pedantic.
yeah.
Um,
It's it, and I think a lot of it is if you're doing like what a lot of these Facebook instructors are doing, well, not Facebook, I'll say social media instructors are doing,
yeah,
and they're recording themselves on lessons. They've, if you think about it, really, that's quite a vulnerable thing because how many times on lessons we are not all perfect. We might have thought I should have probably got that question in a little bit earlier there. I should have stopped that a little bit earlier, or they might tap the curb and you think, oh, I should have been a bit quick with that wheel. But because it's out there more, they then
yeah,
get personally picked out on it. But if you're on your lessons, there's no one else there critiquing that, is there? It's like you and your learner, and a learner is like a sponge, aren't they? They'll believe anything
yeah.
you say. You know?
Mm, yeah.
And I
So,
don't mean that as a bad thing, but like
oh,
anything you say regarding driving, they will believe you as the person of trust that that is correct.
well, we see that on standards checks and part threes where the examiner will be in the back, and at the end they'll go, that's not right, don't you? And it's something that people have been saying, and they've been getting it wrong forever. And you have the conversation, and they go, I don't know how many people I've told that to as a fact, because I took it as a fact. It seemed credible.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, no, I think that, that's really true. So you just reminded me, about Lou Walsh, who, started the Big Learner Relay and everything else because she was a big face on Facebook. And I remember talking to her right at the beginning. She got known for doing videos about teaching and talking to instructors, and they're still used. They're out there, really valid, really useful stuff. Check it out. From Go Green's got a lot of them on there, but you can find them on YouTube and everything else. But she was petrified about that judgment. She really, really had to kind of swallow deeply and get past that. And I don't know if internally she ever really did. I know I hate it. I've got better at being on camera. Being on Zoom helped.
Yeah.
Not the other stuff. The other stuff was, give me a camera where I can retake it, and it will take me 20 takes. Stick me in front of a live camera, that's fine. I'm all right. And
Yeah.
but I hate it. I have to be in the right mood on the right day, which affects my social media presence because I don't regularly post. It
Yeah.
helps when DVSA chucks something out like the CPR and defibrillators, and I suddenly go, I need to get in front of this and get a series of videos about that on there and that kind of thing. But I think some instructors look at it and go, I couldn't do that because the person on screen appears like they are a natural or they don't care, whichever way that goes. And in a lot of cases, they do, and they've had to really put in some effort about that.
Hmm.
I think that we often feel that we can't. So I would also always say to people, pick something you think you're really good at, an element of it, and record a video and see what happens. And it might just be you send it out to people you know. It doesn't have to go on social media. You
Hmm.
might just go to people, send it out, and see what you think, and do it that
Yeah.
way.
And it's just getting yourself out there, isn't it? It's not great to start with. Even sometimes when I post now, I'm like, oh God, that sounds horrible. Oh no, why have I done that?
Well, I can't listen to them back.
Yeah, and I'm just like, not bothered. I'm not bothered. Leave it.
Oh, I hate it.
And we always sound worse to ourselves, don't we? Anybody else watching it will just be like, okay, what you on about? And we're like, oh, my voice and my hair wasn't done and my eyebrows are flicked off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. People don't care. You don't have to be on camera. I think that's
Yeah.
always worth noting. You don't have
Yeah.
to be on camera if you don't want to be. My first TikTok account, it was completely faceless. Still is faceless. You know, I've
Yeah.
not had anything apart from my arm when I was doing a reverse video at one point. You can see my arm in it. But
Shocking. How shocking.
I should have covered it
It's
up.
showing an ankle.
But it's some of the videos I do now with roundabouts is I'll talk through it, but my face is not on it, and I mix them up a little bit where I'll have like dual recording, and you'll see me and you'll see the road if I want the point of seeing how I'm doing it as a driver. But if I just want you to be focusing on the road and the roundabout and the road markings, then you can just have it recording that and then talk and just
Yeah.
talk to what you're doing.
And going back to AI, you can have someone else's voice doing it now that actually
Yeah,
sounds pretty human. You know,
CapCut's great for that.
it's yeah.
It's to
And
speak.
even Zoom, you can create. You can, if you don't want to say it, you can do it so that it takes you, and it creates an avatar that's
Yeah.
you. It sounds weird. It's not human. It's very odd. But there's again an emerging market there where you don't even have to turn up for it to
Yeah.
happen. You know, it's like deep fakes for driving instructors.
That's it. Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. So before we finish, where is it best for people to find you if they have followed the conversation this far and are still with us? We'll put it in the notes, but where is the best way for them to get in touch?
It will be Facebook. Um, I've I've got a group now, but I've also set up a profile just so I'm not getting people following my personal profile because
Yeah.
I get tagged in a lot of different photos of the kids and stuff, and then people are liking them and stuff. And I get it, it's not like malicious, but I've set up a separate profile for that just to keep it more like that, which will still be
I
relevant and everything.
I sold my soul and my family to the driving instructor world,
Yeah,
and I gave up on that partly because Facebook really caused a lot of problems in the industry by changing the rules and it turned profiles into pages because it said you were breaking the rules. 2 weeks later, it changed the rules again, so it wasn't a problem.
yeah,
And again, Lou Walsh and myself, some prominent names in the Facebook world at the time, got accounts lost, and we lost amazing connectivity between instructors that took a long time to recover. But no, I did. I kind of accepted that I'm. You cut me through the middle. It says ADI, so my kids have grown up with that and everything else. But I think it is advice I give to other people: separate it.
yeah,
You might not be an ADI forever. Yeah.
yeah. That's it. Yeah, just
Yeah.
have a different account. That's what I've had a little bit. So
Well, I
I've been,
suppose if they can't find you, you're not doing your job properly.
that's
So
it.
maybe we shouldn't put anything in the notes.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's it. And see if you can find us here. We've got the
yeah, but I'm going to put
search
this as
this.
a podcast, and I figured that out.
Ooh,
That pointing doesn't work on a podcast.
oh, damn it. This up here. Oh, wait, the other way.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I think it's really interesting. We're in really interesting times again with social media and development and things
Yeah,
because of AI and everything else. So I think you've got a lot of work to do, keeping driving instructors on the straight and narrow with that. And I look forward to seeing every success with that because I love what you've done so far.
thank
And
you.
the thing I will just flag up because you won't because you're too humble to do so is your work with the PDI advertising side of things. You've got a PDF on that every PDI should be looking at just to give them some guidelines that are DVSA friendly.
Yeah,
So if you're a PDI, get in touch because that is important. Again, if you've got a link straight to that, maybe we'll put that in the comments as
yeah,
well,
yeah,
so
can do
people
that.
can get in
No
touch for
problem.
that. That'd be cool. Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Been, been a pleasure, and yeah, I look forward to seeing what people have got to say.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Chris. Cheers.
Good.